Welcome to episode 1 of the Bitcoin Slang podcast. I'm your host, Robbie P. I've wanted to do this for quite some time, to start a podcast, and I wasn't sure of the format, when, where, and how, and content, and angles, and guests. And I guess while I start this off with an end goal of continuing this for a long time, I think I'll find my groove. I think I'll find exactly my angle. And the important thing is just to start. Australian music. The accent debate. Seen this on Take Flight recently in one of their reels. When Complete said that if you were to switch up your accent because of other people pressuring you, that'd be less real. Absolutely.
One thing I've always said about rappers that in Australia that rap in American accents, and there's always the debate of that being fake. I think it would be faker if they stopped because people told them to. If they're doing it because they enjoy it, then they're being real to themselves, so if I can let them, that's kind of how I look at it. Some people prefer listening to an accent like that too, so bro, you're the artist, do what you want.
The debate is really divided, but usually it's drop the accent.
If I tell them to drop it, then they do it, then they're being fake to themselves.
This accent debate's gone on forever, and I don't give a fuck. All I know is when I was born, I didn't even speak English. If you want to start talking to me about accents, let's start with that, right? I spoke Polish up until I went to school, and then I stayed back in grade 5 because my English wasn't good enough. Maybe I just wasn't interested, ADHD, whatever. Really, the accent debate is really over 2 vowels. That's really the accent debate. It's A's and the O's. All rhymes end in vowels. A, E, I, O, U, C. Is a phonic. F is interesting. I don't know. I think that's like an O or a U. It's a U. F is a U sound. U. So the accent debate is really over the unpleasant tonality of that A and O, the vowels that people have a problem with. Because they're the most noticeable in glass, ass, pass, fast, mass, jazz, last, das. A with an A. Whereas in Australia, we got glass, grass, and glass in my ass. It's not that fast. Brass. I think the thing that we can be proud of in Australia when it comes to this accent debate is that the West Sydney drill scene, they've got the islanders have a real cool tone. They got a real cool tone. It really goes, when they rap on it just sounds gangster as fuck. And it should. And it's great. It sounds better than the UK stuff. Mixed by JD and Inca. Their song Appreciate has been doing really well in the Philippines. A lot of reels. There's been a lot of reels made with the song attached. And the song is highlighting that the people appreciate something. This comes back to the social media nature of music. It's about utility. It always has been. I put up a poll not too long ago. Does music serve a utility or is it just ear candy? And it was a trick question. Because even if it serves as ear candy, that is a utility. The utility of it being ear candy. So some songs are meant to sound that way. Public Enemy wasn't meant to sound pretty. Public Enemy and NWA were meant to talk about some real shit. Nature of hip hop is to be outspoken. I want to maintain that. I've got the creative license to still do that, and I should be exploiting it. Because otherwise, if I come on social media and say some of the stuff that I've said in my lyrics just as like a real human being, I'm gonna lose my job if I had one. But guess what? Rappers and comedians can still have this creative license to say the extreme stuff. This podcast landscape starts to blur the lines. I'm just free flowing. This conversation is free flowing. I've got the audience shame. They're gonna do a performance later. Part of the whole thing, I want to do a 2-up. A conversation with you. Share some information that I stumbled across, some observations, some reflections, and then do a performance. Regardless, I want this thing to be fun. I don't want it to be too serious. I'm no longer afraid though. I tell you one thing, I just don't care. After the last 3 years with the way the human race behaved, I'm absolutely disappointed in everyone. Everyone failed. The major PSYOP test of humanity, they failed it. It is what it is. It is what it is. When I was younger, I wanted to be an actor, and I did some acting lessons. I wanted to be Michael J. Fox, going back in the future. I learned very quickly that if I wanted to pursue acting, I would basically be told what to do and how to do it. And that's far from how I operate.
More toxic, more toxic than the most toxic Bitcoin maxi ever. They said he's more toxic than the most toxic Bitcoin maxi ever. They said
Today, Bitcoin continued to rally over $1 million a coin.